Running Back Nation, what is good? We are going to talk about Quentin Grimes and how the 76ers definitely can re-sign him, because there's a lot of people been kind of hitting me up in the comments and on social medias saying that he's going to walk this offseason. And with all things considered, bird rights and everything else, there's actually no reason that the 76ers should let him walk this offseason. So we're going to talk about his contract. We're going to talk about a couple of other teams that could offer him some contracts. We're going to talk about what bird rights mean and why the 76ers absolutely have no excuse to let Quentin Grimes leave this offseason in free agency. But first, this is brought to you by our friends at Mando. It's time for some spring cleaning, and it's time for you to get rid of your old deodorant. Mando is a full-body deodorant that is 72-hour protection. This is a full-body deodorant. You want to smell good just in one area or all over. If you're running around all weekend, no matter where you wake up, you're going to smell just as fresh as the day you left. It really is crazy how long it lasts. You got to try it for yourself to understand what I'm saying. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off your starter pack with our exclusive code SICKOS. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack using code SICKOS at shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. And once again, that is code SICKOS at shopmando.com. Do your spring cleaning. The Sixers need to do some spring cleaning and get rid of that Paul George contract. I don't think they can do it. But we're here to talk about Quentin Grimes, man. Because Quentin Grimes is looking like a solidified NBA star, and it's kind of making some people nervous because he is a restricted free agent. That's step number one. He's a restricted free agent. A lot of people hit me up, don't seem to even know that he's a restricted free agent. Here is Quentin Grimes' contract right now. He signed a 4-year rookie scale contract out of the draft with the New York Knicks. 4 years, $11 million. Average salary, $2.7 million. Of course, having the ability to drop 40 plus in any given NBA game, really against any given NBA defense. I mean, he was giving Dylan Brooks the work last night. You know, he's definitely going to get paid a lot more than $2.7 million a year. There you see Knicks, Detroit Pistons. Kind of crazy that he played for the Detroit Pistons for like 30 seconds. I don't even remember him being in a Pistons jersey. Not that I ever watched a Detroit Pistons game, probably since the Chauncey Billups and Ben Wallace days. Cade Cunningham's nice, actually. Detroit's nice this year. They probably wish they would have kept Quentin Grimes around. But anyway, traded to the 76ers from the Dallas Mavericks, which, what was he in the Dallas Mavericks for half a season? So they didn't even list him on this contract thing as far as the Dallas Mavericks go. And there you see 25-26 restricted free agent. The Sixers have his bird rights because he signed the contract with the New York Knicks and was traded not once, not twice, but 3 times. So he is still on that same rookie scale contract. The only way you would not have bird rights is if he would have left in free agency or if he would have been waived or something else. But because he was just traded and is still on that original rookie scale contract, the 76ers have his bird rights. Now let's talk about what bird rights are. NBA bird rights, or the Larry Bird exception, allows teams to exceed the salary cap to re-sign their own free agents, providing a key exception to the salary cap's strict enforcement. Bird rights is a colloquial term. What the freak is that word? Colloquial term for the qualifying veteran free agent exception in the NBA's collective bargaining agreement. It allows the team to re-sign its own free agent to a contract with a first-year salary of up to the maximum player salary, even if it means going over the cap. This exception is designed to allow teams to retain their star players, even if it means exceeding the salary cap. Full bird rights. A team gets full bird rights if a player has spent 3 years with the team without leaving in free agency. Early bird rights. A team gets if a player has spent 2 years with the team without leaving in free agency. The Sixers could also have early bird rights on Gershon Yabusele. Has to do with some exceptions and things like that. But they have the full bird rights of Quentin Grimes. Cap hold. When a player becomes a free agent, a team assigned a cap hold based on the player's previous salary. First player to ink a deal with the Celtics using the bird rights was Cedric Maxwell, who was paid $800,000 a year, a significant chunk of the $3.6 million salary at the time. That's insane how low that salary was compared to NBA salaries right now. Now, my question has been, for a couple days now, I know they have his bird rights, they can sign him, but people are, articles and other people are still saying how, what are they willing to pay? And I'm like, if it doesn't count against the cap, why do they care what they're willing to pay? Because it won't affect the salary cap year one, but it will affect the salary cap moving forward. So that could be something involved as far as like the length of the contract. And we're going to talk about some other teams that might offer him a contract too. But yeah, if a team offers him a 5-year max, then I don't know, because the Sixers would have to ship Paul George. If a team offers him a 5-year max and the Sixers want to match that, they would have to somehow get rid of the Paul George contract. I don't know how that would work. If the Paul George contract ends up making it impossible for the 76ers to sign Quentin Grimes, I'm going to pull every last hair out of the top of my head. But yeah, I people are like, well, other teams could offer more and he could choose that. No, he's a restricted free agent. He can't refuse. The 76ers have his rights. A restricted free agent can sign an offer sheet with another team, but their current team has the right of first refusal to match that offer and retain that player. So there's that. It will be interesting this summer to see what teams offer him. I think the Sixers are probably going. Who knows what they're going to do? They could offer him something that is big enough of a contract that he likes and wants to stay here. I'm sure he loves playing in front of the Philly crowd, even with it just being the crowd that's left in the tank. The crowd has been electric behind Quentin Grimes in the couple of games that he's played here. We'll have to see. Now, here's an article from Liberty Ballers that says, can the Sixers afford to re-sign Quentin Grimes in free agency? And they go through the same thing, the salary cap and the bird rights. But Grimes in the final year of his rookie scale contract, the Sixers have the right to match any offer he signs with another team, which often deters teams from making offers in the first place. So it would be nice if teams don't make any offers and we just get to sign him. However, Brooklyn Nets manager Sean Marks became notorious for lobbing offer sheets at restricted free agents in the mid-2010s. Who could forget his $70+ million offer for Otto Porter Jr.? I didn't want to click on that. And Alan Crabb. And remember, Paul Reed, was offered a contract from the Utah Jazz when he was a restricted free agent, I believe last off season. And the Sixers matched that contract, maybe in response to the outcry of the fan base, who at the time loved Paul Reed. And then we realized that Paul Reed is just not very good at basketball, and the Sixers let him walk this offseason or traded him. I forget. But yeah, they did match the offer for Paul Reed from the Utah Jazz, which got him paid a significant amount of money, more than maybe he would have gotten paid otherwise. Marks has his own restricted free agent to worry about in Cam Thomas. I think Grimes is better. Marks projects to have the final flexibility to throw a hefty offer sheet at Grimes. The financial flexibility to throw a hefty offer sheet at Grimes. So the Brooklyn Nets could be a team, aside from Brooklyn and Detroit. The Detroit Pistons could be a team that could offer him up to $25 million in cap space. Wouldn't that be some shit? Tobias Harris is over there having the time of his life. The Pistons are good. And then we lose Quentin Grimes to the Detroit Pistons on top of that. Who knows? Cade Cunningham's already on a max contract. Jaden Ivey's becoming extension eligible this offseason. So it is unlikely that they spend that money on a third guard. Aside from Brooklyn and Detroit, the other teams around the league projected to be limited to the $14 million non-taxpayer mid-level exception at best. Offseason trades can change that financial landscape, but the Sixers likely wouldn't bat an eye matching an offer in that range. Yeah, if it's $14 million, you're going to offer that. And if before the last couple of games, it might have still been $14 million. But now the fact that he's showing that he might just be an elite level NBA scorer, dropping 46 points on the Houston Rockets last night, and he's had multiple 40-point games in just like 13 games as a Sixer. He's going to get paid much more than $14.1 million. Yeah, the Sixers would match that, but now you're looking at probably 25. I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think Grimes is probably worth 25 a year at this stage of his career. He might even get more than that. I think our hope should be that teams look at this and say, he didn't do anything in New York as far as this level of scoring. Detroit, Dallas, and now the Sixers are tanking and he's scoring like this. I think as Sixers fans, our hope should be that other teams and other owners and GMs get the impression that it's just stat padding because the Sixers are not trying to win the end of the season. If they're actually watching these games live, they would know that it's not stat padding, but they might be weary. They might be hesitant to throw money at Grimes because if all they're seeing is these scoring numbers on a bad team at the end of the season when they're not trying to win. So that should be our hope, is that a team doesn't really know how good he is because of the situation and doesn't offer him that. And then maybe he signs with the Sixers for under 25 mil. When I think about a max contract, when I think about $50 million, isn't it just insane that you can see a player like that at 24 years old show his ability to score on an elite level, and we're sitting here wondering if he's going to get paid $25 million. And then you got guys like Paul George who make $50 million and can't even get on the floor anymore. Joel Embiid extension, $50 million a year, can't even play a game. The NBA is ass backwards, but the Sixers front office also, they don't understand that this is what the game is. 25 to 30-year-olds, 25 to 28-year-olds, really. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get players in that prime window. You don't give 34-year-olds $50 million a year. Another thing is this. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Somebody said that we shouldn't care about tanking anymore because, we're rooting for the Sixers to stay in the tank standings to retain their first round pick and hopefully have a shot at an Ace Bailey or a Cooper Flagg or a Dylan Harper or somebody like that. Somebody said the Sixers shouldn't care about tanking anymore. Let's just pretend we kept our pick and Quentin Grimes is the guy that we got. It's a good way to look at it. And last night was a fun game to watch. I ended up actually rooting for the Sixers to win the game because I think the Houston Rockets were acting like bitches and were getting abused by a bunch of G Leaguers and then tried to start fights. I really wanted the Sixers to win that game just for the vibes. It is good that they lost. But yeah, let me know what you think about that. And here is the tank standings before I get up out of here. The Sixers are tied with Brooklyn at 23 and 45. This is what I was saying the other day. There's not much of a difference between 5 and 6. If they land at 5 or 6, it's almost identical. 39.5 versus 39.9% chance at a top 4 pick. 9.7 versus 9.8% chance at a number 1 overall pick. 5 and 6 are basically identical. So it doesn't really matter if they land at 5 or 6. And keep in mind, this is not where they land. This is where they end the season, and then there's a lottery. They could still land at number 1. They could still fall to number 10 with some bad luck, and this franchise has bad luck. But, you know, you when you get back to 7 and 8, that's where the numbers start to dip. But 5 and 6 are pretty much the same, and I don't think they're going to catch New Orleans or Charlotte or anybody else. So I think they're going to stay right around here at 5 or 6, pretty much tied with Brooklyn. Who's barking? And yeah, my dog's downstairs barking, and that is but that was the end of this video anyway. Maybe we'll sim the lottery before I get out here. Let's hit the button. Here we go. And speaking of the Sixers falling out of they fell to number 7, and the Oklahoma City Thunder got their first round pick. That's probably what's going to happen anyway. So let's just enjoy this Quentin Grimes thing while it's here. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys very soon.